Hey everybody. First of all, welcome to everybody who's catching this on the replay. Look at that. I think I got everything started on the first try. Oh, no, let me turn that off. So I still have some little glitches that I need to learn about using all this software to get things done properly. One is I can't be watching it on my phone and on here at the same time. Second one that I learned, really important last week, don't let people in the house use the microwave while I'm trying to do this on Wi-Fi, because apparently microwaves mess with your Wi-Fi. So 2 lessons learned, 2 Facebook Lives down. What am I going to learn next week? So first of all, welcome. Welcome to my second Facebook Live video. I'm happy to report that I think this worked on the first try. I think I got all the bugs worked out. So that was a frustrating experience last week for everybody, I think. But it's all worked out now and we're good to go. I want to thank everybody who's here after watching last week's video. That means I must have said something that you liked and you're back, and that makes me really happy. So I'm thrilled that there's more people coming in today to watch. Unfortunately, I can't see the comments when I do it this way, which is, I'm sure, something I'll learn how to do for next week. So I will answer all the comments afterwards, or feel free to join me over at Social Media for Twerps, the Facebook group, and ask any questions you have over there as well. So if we've got a few people in here, go ahead and share this out to let your friends know we're talking about tips and tools for creating your own social media content today. And because we got started on time, hopefully we'll be done on time today. So go ahead and give this a share for your friends. Let's have a quick review, really quick, of what we talked about last week. So last week's topic was, why do you need to create your own unique content? And my favorite saying is, and I've said this many times, if all you ever do is share other people's content, then why does anybody need to follow you? If all you ever do is pick out memes and motivational quotes and articles that other people have written, why do I need to follow you? You're not giving me anything of yours. You're not giving me your opinion. You're not giving me your take on things. You're not telling me in your own words, and that's giving me no information to know, like, and trust you and to want to do business with you. If anything, it makes me want to do business with them because you're saying they're the experts. So that's probably my biggest argument for creating your own content. Doesn't matter if everybody else has already talked about the same thing. Give us your take on that. Tell us what your opinion is and your takeaway so that we can hear from you in your own words, and we get to know, like, and trust you. We build that relationship with you. All right, so before we get started, if you didn't already share this out, go ahead and share this out to your friends so they can join us. Or even you can share it to a business page too if you think your business followers would be interested in learning how to make content for their own social media. So here's what I'm going to talk about today. I'm going to talk about the types of content that you can create, because it's not maybe what you think. We're going to talk about the tools you need to create them. So I'm going to go through each type of content that I see and give you a tool that's going to help you create that type of content. I'm also going to mention my secret weapon for creating content, and that's going to be near the end, of course, but I think it's something that's often overlooked, and it merges the best of professional and DIY, and I tell lots of people to do this, and I think it works for a lot of people. And then, of course, I've got a free download for you at the end that's going to make your do-it-yourself graphic design a whole lot easier and faster. So you're going to want to stick around to get the link for that. All right, so let's dive into this. We're talking about the types of content that you can create. So content comes in many different forms. You might have been thinking that it had to be something big and complicated, that maybe it had to be big research papers or books or ebooks or white papers, infographics. All these things, they're definitely pieces of content that you can create and use to build relationships, but they're the big, complicated ones. So maybe you don't have to do something so big and complicated that takes so much work. Is anybody here thinking that, yeah, that's what I thought we had to do? I thought it had to be big and complicated. I thought content was an ebook. Content was a movie, commercial. It was something big and produced. If that's what you thought, go ahead and give me a few likes there, even though I haven't quite figured out how I'm going to see them today, but I'll see them in the replay. So, and tell me what you think about that. Is that what you thought content was? Because content is really anything that you put out on your social media. Even if you just put out a simple statement saying, I like potatoes. I grew up in potato country. If you put out a simple statement saying, I like potatoes, that's content. It might not be valuable content, but it is content. It's something that your viewers, your followers are going to consume. So content is really anything that you put out there. So to be honest, a simple tweet, it can be content. I mean, we tweet all the time. 140 characters is not much, but it can be very valuable if you take the time to craft it properly. So content is something that's valuable to people, I think. That's the difference between content and just a tweet. I mean, it's all content, but if we're talking about content marketing and creating your own content for the purposes of building a business and building your social media, your content has to have some kind of value. Value can mean different things to different people. So value in content can be entertainment value. You read a tweet, it makes you laugh. You got some entertainment value out of that. And I think most people understand what entertainment value is. But not everybody is in the content game to make people laugh and to provide entertainment. Some of us want to do something more than that. And providing entertainment, that's not going to build your business unless, I don't know, you're a comedian or you're a copywriter who writes funny scripts. So you have to think about what kind of value does your audience want? Do they want to be entertained like the followers of Old Spice or Domino's Pizza or Wendy's? Or are they expecting you to be informational? So to me, informational is things like on Twitter, locally, we have a Twitter account that broadcasts only the things that are happening in traffic. So if you're a commuter, you can log on to Twitter, you can look at this traffic account and see where the hangups are for the days for your commute home so you can plan your route around it. That's informational. But another type of value is educational. So you're actually teaching people. Now the Halifax traffic account, it's not teaching people anything. It's being informational. It's helping them get through their day, get through their commute. An educational account would actually be doing tips and tutorials. It would be teaching people things, or it would be advocating, so there's different types of value that people can get. So I want you to think about what is the value of your content. If you're doing Motivational Monday, are you inspiring people? Is that the value? Inspiration can be a value of your content. So you need to think about that. What does your audience want from you in terms of value? And then you need to build your content around that. So value is different for different people. So once you've figured out what type of value proposition you have for your content, then you need to look at the different types of content that there is. I've already mentioned white papers and ebooks. Those are two big, really time-consuming types of content, and they're great lead magnets. But if you don't have the time or the interest in writing these big research papers or writing an ebook, then they're not the right ones for you. Or, you can hire a copywriter, I suppose. but maybe those aren't the right types of content for you to provide. We have to find that perfect trifecta. What your audience wants, what you can provide, and what you want to provide, what you have the time and resources to provide. So those three things go into building your content. If you suck at photography, then obviously photos are going to have to come from a stock source, and photos might not be a big part of your content strategy if you suck at taking your own photos. If you are a terrible writer, or if you are scared to death to be on video, you're obviously not going to do Facebook Lives. So think about what your audience wants from you, what you want to provide, how you think you can provide that, and what you're actually willing to do. Those are the three things you have to think about. So there's tons of different types of content that you can create. It doesn't have to be white papers and ebooks. It doesn't have to be big, huge chunks of content. We can also look at simple graphics. So you see them all the time, the memes on all the networks, but mainly Facebook. The most interesting man in the world. You see, the baby that's giving you the fist bump and the, all those things. Those are types of content that you can adapt to your own needs, or you can do motivational Monday quotes. I mean, put a nice sunset behind a quote, bing, bang, boom, you're done. So those are quick and easy types of content that you can provide if you have the tools in place. And we're going to talk about tools in a few minutes. Photos are a really big, important part of content now. Like I said, if you're not a good photographer, if you know that you're always getting your thumb in front of the camera and your photos are blurry and dark, either you have to invest in hiring somebody or taking a course to learn how to do it better, or you need to start using stock photos, or you need to find a way to do things that doesn't involve photos. So I'm not a photographer. My sister's a photographer, but I actually use a lot of branded graphics for my work. I hardly ever use actual photos. So you'll see my little bar across the bottom of the video here. That's a graphic that has been designed to fit my brand. All of my stuff is done with graphic elements, with Miss P, the little bird there. So I don't use a lot of photos in mine because I know that I don't take great photos. And let's be honest, there's not a lot of photos to happen in the kind of work that I do. It's mostly selfies or crowd shots or whatever. So not a lot of photos to happen. But if you are a boutique of women's clothing and you suck at taking photos, you better figure that out, because you need to take pictures of your clothes, obviously. We also have video content. So whether it's video or live stream, it's both a type of video content. Is that something you're going to try? I mean, here I am trying to get back into the live streaming realm after taking about a year off. Live video is huge. It bumps you up to the top of the Facebook newsfeed. People like to watch it. They can engage with it. You're probably engaging with it right now. Think about video and live streaming. What about blog posts? I talk a lot about blog posts. So blog posts and articles, another type of content, not as big and time intensive as a white paper or a research paper or maybe an ebook, but a really important piece of content. Then you can look at things like quizzes. You could do a quiz. You see them all the time on Facebook. What type of animal are you? Where should you live in your retirement? All those kinds of things. You can create those contests. There are apps out there to help you create those contests. So you could create a contest like that, and that can be a piece of content. It's something that you're putting out there on your social networks, on your profiles, for your fans to engage with. And the last one that I'm listing here is GIFs. Yes, I say GIFs, not GIFs. So GIFs, those short little looping videos that we use them a lot on Twitter to interact with people, or at least I do. So So GIFs are the short little, usually 3-second looping videos, just repeats over and over and over. Somebody tripping, or it could be somebody waving or saying thank you. There's all kinds of ways to use those. Another piece of content. And if you market that one properly, the GIF, if you put it up on the tool that we're going to talk about in a bit, then other people can use it, and maybe that helps spread the news about your business. Lots of things to think about, lots of different types of content you can create. So everybody has different talents and different preferences. Some of these things are going to be easier for you and harder for others. I hate graphic design. I hate doing it myself. I love graphic design. I hate doing it myself. I used to try and do all of my graphic design when I started my business in a Photoshop, Adobe Illustrator knockoff open source thing called GIMP. So if you want to use a really robust program like Photoshop, there's a free program out there called GIMP. It's a bear. It's really heavy on your system. It takes a lot of space. The learning curve on Photoshop or GIMP is really, really steep. So if you're not tech savvy, those probably aren't the way to go. But 6 years ago when I started this business, that's all there was. We didn't have the easy DIY tools that we have today. So we had GIMP and we had Photoshop. GIMP was free. Photoshop was, I don't know, $700. So I got GIMP. And I hated it. I couldn't figure out how to use it properly. There weren't really good tutorials out there. I couldn't take a class in it. I was trying to save money. So eventually what I did was I got a graphic designer to give me quote blocks. So it was something that I could stick into GIMP, and all I had to do was add text. And wow, that made my life a whole lot easier with these little quote blocks. But then a couple years later came along all these DIY tools. So we're going to talk about that now. Let's talk about the tools. So let's look at graphics first. We're talking about GIMP. We're talking about Photoshop. These things came along. And, the new tools came along, like Canva. Everybody who's been following me for a while knows that Canva is the tool of choice for me. So I got these quote blocks designed, and I was able to use those in GIMP and Illustrator and just add my quote or my testimonial or my blog title even to it. And I had them designed in all the different sizes that I would need. When Canva came along, it became so much easier. And Canva is free, but there is a paid upgrade that has some really nice features. But you can just upload this quote block that is professionally designed to fit all of the different sizes you need for social media and add your text. And Canva makes that so easy. So if you're old school and you want to do everything the way a graphic designer would actually do it, you can look at Illustrator, Photoshop, or GIMP. But personally, I find it so much easier to use Canva. So if you want to check that out, it's canva.com. I have actually bought the premium edition, which $130 US maybe for the year. So it is an annual subscription. It allows me to have a few extra features. I don't have any say or any, I don't get any kickbacks from Canva, so you can go check it out. Don't worry about me. I'm just suggesting a program that I really like, and I find it's really easy for a lot of people to use. So you can upload your own graphics into there. I've uploaded all of my character birds, Miss P's in there and all her costumes. I've uploaded all of those quote graphics. I've even uploaded my fonts that I use so that I'm always using the same fonts on my graphics. And I've configured all of my brand colors in there so that I've always got the same purples and the same greens to choose from. So that's one of the benefits of upgrading to the premium edition of Canva. But there is a free edition that does most of this stuff. The beauty of Canva and some of these other programs is there's all kinds of freebies in there. Free templates that are already professionally designed. All you have to do is swap out the picture that's there for your own picture, perhaps. Some of them even have quotes already built for you. You just download them the way they are. Or you can use the picture and the layout that's there, but swap out the quote, put in your own quote. Or you can do everything. You can start from a blank and totally create your own graphic. So today, how I work this, and this is my secret weapon. Okay, so this is the piece that I think most small businesses could really use this and really afford to do this. So here's my secret weapon. I still have a graphic designer that I work with. I do very little of this design stuff myself. And here's how we work. She designs every week, pretty much, the graphics to go on my blog, on my website. So I send her the title of my blog, and she comes back with the graphics to fit Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Pinterest, LinkedIn, and my blog header and anything else I need to go with it. So she takes Miss P, she puts Miss P in some costumes, puts her in some scenes, and then adds the title of the blog so that it's all professionally done and looks really great. Sure, she does that. And maybe you can't afford to have somebody do that every week. But what she also does, and this is the secret part, she gives me all of those scenes as blanks without the title. And she gives me all of those characters too. So if Miss P becomes a teacher or goes skiing or plays hockey, I have hockey players, or becomes a pirate, I have all of those characters as well. Now, you don't all have characters, I get that. But if your designer is designing something for you with text on it, ask them to give you the same piece blank. That way you can take that into Canva, into Adobe Illustrator or Photoshop or whatever it is you're using to do your design, and you can add your own text to it later and your branding stays consistent. So every week, Marcy designs the pieces to go with my blog and gives me these blanks. And then I've got, especially for Instagram, where I'm doing Motivation Monday quotes and I'm doing Tip Tuesdays, I can take old squares that are blank that Marcy has designed, and I can add my quote to it, and I can do all that stuff myself. I don't have to wait for her. I don't have to pay her extra to do that. And it does take time, but because Canva is so easy to use, it only takes me a few minutes to make the graphics that I need to put those up on Facebook and Twitter and Instagram and all the places I want to put them. So that's my secret weapon. I get those blanks back from the designer. I'm kind of doubling or maybe even tripling what I'm getting out of the work I'm paying the designer to do. Now here in Halifax, we've got lots of really great designers and they charge a wide range of prices. So if you have been working with a graphic designer that you just feel is not getting you or isn't in your price range, I just suggest that you look around and see if you can find another designer who gets you better, who feels your vibe, who gets your brand. Or if it's a pricing thing, again, look around because there's a big range of what graphic designers will charge, and maybe you'll find one that works better for you. Okay, so I talked a lot about Canva because Canva, and it's Canva, there's no S, it's not Canvas. Canva.com is the one that I use. But there's also several other really cool programs out there, and they all work similar but have different features. There's another really cool program called Relay, and I think to find it on Google, you type Relay That. I think it's relaythat.com probably. I've actually met the founder of that, Craig Carpenter. It's a really cool program. It's much more limited in what you can do than Canva. Basically, you put in a picture, you put in your text, and it follows the templates. You don't have as much room to move things around, which is really good for people who really, really suck at graphic design. You don't have to worry about accidentally moving things around and having things in a bad spot. So relaythat.com. We also have Stencil. You'll need to Google Stencil graphic design to find that one. Again, pretty simple. Upload your photos and change your colors, put in your text. These are all really simple programs. I have a client that uses Stencil. She's not graphically inclined at all, but she does all of her own quotes every week in Stencil. We have PicMonkey. So PicMonkey is one that's really popular among a lot of people. I found one totally by accident last week called Snappa, S-N-A-P-P-A. Works the same as all of these. It's got all kinds of templates and freebies in it. Upload your own stuff, add the text, download, you're good to go. Another big one that's come out recently is called Adobe Spark. So it's part of the Adobe system. It's robust and lots of big social media people are using it. I've tried it. It's not difficult to use. It has different features. Again, just a different system, and maybe you're going to find you need to use 2 or 3 different ones. And the last one that I'm going to mention is called Pablo, and it's by Buffer. So if you're using Buffer to schedule your social media, Pablo is built into that. It's not one, I don't think you can use it outside of Buffer. It's only if you're actually scheduling things in Buffer that you would be able to use this. But it's super simple. You upload your photo, and it's got about 3 templates to choose from. Put your photo in, pick a template, add your text, and you're good to go. It's really fast, really easy. I just like having a lot more control and a lot more options and more color and so on. So if you're doing motivational quotes with just a picture behind and a quote, Pablo by Buffer is a really good option. And if you are into Snapchat and you want to do geo filters for Snapchat, Relay actually has templates for building Snapchat geo filters. So that would be the one to look at if you're into Snapchat stuff. So I would love for you in the comments to let me know if you're using a different one that I haven't mentioned, because I like to check them out. And I have a blog post and a resource page on my website where I like to list them for everybody. So please, if you've got another one that I haven't listed, let me know in the comments. So they're all similar. They all have different templates. They all have free and paid versions. So I would suggest that maybe you sign up for a couple of them, check them out, and go from there. Decide which one it is that you like. Okay, I'm just going to real quick here just double check one little thing on my computer. And no, okay. Not what I was hoping. That's okay. Going to keep going. So if you've been enjoying this, give me another share. I would love it if you could share this out with your friends and your business colleagues who are also struggling with creating their own content, so that they can have some tips and tools for doing that as well. So if you prefer to work on your phone, I don't. I've got glasses. I find the phone, even though the phones are so big now, I find the phone really small. So I don't do a lot of design work on the phone, but there's lots of apps out there that will. Over is really popular for, I think it's both iPhone and Android now. So I hear a lot about that one, where it's basically uploading a photo and adding text over top of the photo. So that's a great one to use. The one I have is called InstaQuote. So it was made specifically to work with Instagram, but once you've downloaded those, you can use them anywhere. InstaQuote was free, but I actually bought that. It was about, I don't know, $5 or something to buy. And buying it allowed me to upload my own backgrounds. So those quote graphic blocks that my designer made for me that I could just reuse over and over and over, I uploaded all of those into InstaQuote. And at conferences, I can actually quickly add text over top of one of those from my phone and put that out on Instagram or Twitter, and I can be live tweeting branded quotes from the conference or the event from my phone. So really super easy, cool tip for creating content on the fly at events if you're doing that. Now, if you're hanging out on multiple networks, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, LinkedIn, Pinterest, if you've been hanging out on all of those networks for very long, you've noticed one thing. All of the networks have a different size. Instagram is square, Twitter is long and rectangular. Facebook is a little bit taller and rectangular. Pinterest is, I don't think I can do this. Pinterest is like this. So they're all different. And one design isn't going to work well for all spaces, although there's some leeway on some of them. So the freebie today, I'm going to give you the link at the end. The freebie is actually something you can download that will tell you what all those sizes are. So when you go into Canva, you can say, I need 1200 by 628 to work on Facebook. And every time you go in there until you've memorized all these numbers, you've got this printout. And you can say, okay, well, I've made the one for Facebook. Now what do I need for LinkedIn? What do I need for Twitter? What do I need for Instagram? So you can easily create all those graphics. So that's the download you're going to get today. I'm going to give you that link at the end. I think it's going to be a really big help for you. So what if you need to add really unique little elements to your graphics? So maybe you don't have a twerp bird, you don't have a character that you can use. There's a couple of really cool programs out there that will create cartoon characters of you, and they're really fun. They're not something that I'm into using for myself because I have Miss P, I have my twerp bird, but if you want to see how Bitmoji, so it's Bitmojii, can be used in marketing, I would suggest that you check out Lift Communications. That's Tina here in Halifax, for anybody that is in Halifax. Check out her marketing and her branding because she uses, I don't know if it's Bitmoji or something really similar, but that's her branding. She uses her Bitmoji character and everything. I know Adam from Caring Counts has a Bitmoji that he uses in things as well. So Bitmoji is one. Basically, you pick the shape of the face, you pick the glasses, you pick the eye color, you pick every little element and build your own cartoon characters. There's another one that I played with for a while called Mommies or Momies, probably Momies. It's Moment Cam. And you take a picture and you upload it into Moment Cam and it scans your face and makes a cartoon out of your face, makes a drawing out of your face. Then you can use that drawing in scenes that are in the Momies, and you can get animated GIFs of your face doing different things in the Momies. So that one's really cool too. So that's Moment Cam, only available on phones as far as I know. So there's two options for doing something a little bit different to get your cartoon characters out there and create some different elements for your branding. Okay, so that's graphics. Talked a lot about different tools you can use to build graphics, but let's talk about blogging for a minute. And this will just be for a couple minutes. Blogging super, super, super important for your SEO. I've heard twice this week alone that people were led to call me and contact me because they found me at the top of the Google search. And I do that through blogging. I do not pay for Google Ads. I have experimented with them in the past, but I haven't paid for Google Ads in well over a couple of years. So if you want proof that the SEO techniques that I talk about on my blog work, and proof that blogging can get you a #1 spot for your keywords, then I want you to just after this or right now, just open a new window, go to Google and Google Social Media Consultant Halifax. And I'd be interested to know what you find. But when I do the incognito searches, and I've had other people confirm this for me, Twerp Communications is right there at the top. And Twerp is right there at the top for several of the keywords that I work for. So I do that all through blogging. If that doesn't convince you that you need to blog on a regular basis, well, I've got no other reasons for you. That's the best reason right there. It also helps to pre-qualify your clients. So your clients can come to your blog, they can read all about you, they can see what you're all about, and decide right then and there if you know what you're talking about. So give them that opportunity to do that. Super important. So I work on WordPress for my blog, and you've probably heard lots about WordPress. It's something like 40% of all the websites in the world now, and 60% of all the blogs are built on WordPress. It's a really high number, and it's really staggering to me that more people aren't using it when I talk to them. So my blog is part of my website. My entire website is built on WordPress, and I love WordPress because of the flexibility it gives me to add different features. So because my blog is part of my website, it has the SEO benefits for my whole website, right? The blog is what gives Google all that new content every week when I put something up. The benefit of using WordPress is all the plugins that you can get to add new features to do different things with your blog. Now, there are other ways to blog. My friend Linda Daly here in Halifax at Daily Progress, Daley, just in case you want to look her up. Her blog is actually on a completely different domain, so it's a different address from her website, and it's on a different system. It's on Blogger. That's because that's how she started it years ago. She started on Blogger, and she's built up such an authority for Google on Blogger that she's kind of scared to move it to WordPress, even though she sees the benefits of having it all in one space. So if for some reason your website system will not allow you to have a blog on your website, you can have it separate. And all you do is you have the menu item at the top, the blog. When you click on that on Linda's website, it just takes you to the blog. And most people wouldn't even notice that they'd moved. So it seems like it's part of the same website. And that's an option. It's not an option I would recommend if you're starting out from scratch. If you can't have a blog on your website, there is also the option, there's other things besides Blogger. You could try Medium. Medium is kind of more like a social network of its own, but people write long blog posts there. There's also Tumblr. Tumblr is for short blog posts. So it depends on who your audience is, where they're hanging out, and what your goal is. Is your goal to reach that audience on Medium because that's where your people are? Or is your goal to get people to your website and to build your SEO? So you can do WordPress. These are your tools, some of your tool choices for blogging. WordPress, awesome. Blogger, free. Limited features, but owned by Google, so there's probably some benefits there. Tumblr, younger audience, short blogging, mostly just resharing pictures. And Medium, which is kind of like its own social network, and people follow each other there but write long blog posts. So some different tools for blogging. So what's left? We've talked about graphics, we've talked about blogging. Video is so important now. It brings you, whether it's a video or whether it's a live stream, it's one way of sort of jumping the queue in the Facebook algorithm and in all the algorithms. It gets you to the top of people's news feeds. So video is really important. And of course, you can go live on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and YouTube if you meet the criteria. And you can do all that for free, and you don't need any extra tools to do that. So if you want to sort of take it up a notch, there are lots of tools out there that can help you. So this fancy little bar I have across here, I created that in Canva, but I'm using a system today called OBS, not OBS, OBS Studio. And I'm using the free version. Again, there's a paid version with more features. I'm using the free version because scheduling a Facebook Live the way that I did, you have to have a system like this in order to go live. Long, complicated story that I am just figuring out. But it also allows me to do things like I could have a split screen with a PowerPoint, or I could have a graphic that I pull up, and I can have transitions, and I can show videos, and I can do all kinds of things through this system. So OBS Studio. There's another freebie out there called Blue Jeans that I'm aware of. I think it's just a free trial though, and it's quite expensive to buy. But there are those two tools out there if you want to up your live stream game. Then We also have video editing needs. So what if you want to create videos with graphics or pictures, or even take videos and then edit them together? There's all kinds of tools out there for that. Adobe Spark, which I mentioned earlier for graphics, has a great system for editing videos from pictures and adding in video clips. So you can try Adobe Spark. But there's also another program called Animoto, Animoto, and they both work very similarly. They both have free versions. On the free version, you're going to be required to have their logo added to it. So for a nominal fee, I think it's, I don't know, maybe $100 a year, again, you can have logo-free videos. And those two systems are being used by a lot of the big social media people that you're probably following. I'm playing with Adobe Spark, and I'm just trying to find the time to create the videos. Live streaming is much easier for me. I can plan it out and I can come do it and it's done. Creating videos seems to be one of my nemesis, I guess. Okay, so if you're into making screencasts, so a screencast is when you are actually doing a voiceover on top of showing people what to do on screen. I've done some videos where I've shown people where to go on Facebook to change certain settings. I'm now using a program called Screencast-O-Matic, and I just bought that. It's pretty inexpensive. I think I paid $12 for it, and I think the regular fee is maybe $20 or $30 a year. But basically you open it up, you figure out what part of your screen you want to share, click record, and you're recording, and you can record a whole screencast tutorial on how to make graphics or how to do this in Excel, how to change something on a website. There's all kinds of possibilities there. You download it, and then you can upload it to YouTube or Facebook or wherever it is you need to do it. So Screencast-O-Matic is that one, but there's another one I've tried called ILOS, I-L-O-S. So there's two options for you if you want to do screencast videos as part of your content marketing. Okay, so I've got one more video-ish tip for you before we're done, and that's for creating GIFs. So GIFs are one of the more recent new darlings of social media content. And as I said, we use them a lot on Twitter for interacting with people and responding to comments. There's a free online place you can go and make them called Giphy, Giphy. So if you Google Giphy, you'll find it. You create a free account on there, and it's super easy to create your own GIFs through Giphy. All you have to do is upload for example, if you want to create a looping before and after, before, after, before, after, before, after, you upload the before and the after, and you tell it to loop for, change every 2 seconds or something. It becomes a GIF. You upload the GIF, and you can ask people, do you like the before or after better? Which color do you like? Which glasses do you like? That's what I should have done when I was buying glasses. I should have done a GIF and asked people to vote for which set of glasses they liked best. So there's all kinds of possibilities. You could have GIFs created of videos, so you can take a short snippet from a video, and let's say it's a video of you saying, hi. I could take that little snippet. That's a good one. I should do this. Take that little snippet, cut it out, and have Giphy make it into a GIF. And then you can put that out there publicly, and maybe other people will start using your hi video on Twitter. Maybe they'll start using your branding. So if you want to see an example of that, Pete and Andrew on Twitter, if you look, I think it's Andrew and Pete on Twitter, they've actually created a series of their own GIFs through probably Giphy, and they're little video snippets of them doing things like saying thank you or hi, and doing that. And you can actually search for Andrew and Pete GIFs, and you can use those. So they're two really great guys that I met at the conference, and go give them some love on Twitter and use their GIFs. So Giphy, another really good tool for you. Okay, let me just see if I've missed any tools, because I think you're ready to start working on your content. You've got all these tools now in your basket, and you've got apps. You've got apps for making motivational quotes. You've got apps for upping your video game. Not your video games, your video game, and your live streams. I've given you a quick free way to make GIFs, free programs that are capable of making animated videos, and a program to pull together. Oh, I forgot to tell you about the ebook program. So before I give you the freebie, there's one other program I want to tell you about that's really cool. It's called Beacon, and it's a plugin for WordPress, but I think you can use it outside of WordPress as well. It plugs into WordPress, and basically you select all of the blog posts you've written, say about Hootsuite, and you say, make me an ebook. It pulls all of those blog posts into an ebook format, into a template. All you have to do is go through and edit it. It's really quite fabulous and interesting, and I think Linda Daly, who I mentioned earlier, I think she's been playing with it more than I. I decided that it wasn't quite robust enough for what I wanted, and so I'm working with a designer to build my ebook. But it was a really cool program that if you have lots of things about a specific topic on your blog, or Trish, if you're watching, if you've created a whole bunch of recipes and you want to pull those recipes quickly into an ebook, then this could be a really cool program for you. There's another one out there that's the same idea that I tried as well, and I couldn't remember the name of it to find it for you today. So Beacon, if you search Beacon WordPress plugin, you'll find that one. All right, so those are all the tools. Those are all the tools that I use. And again, for all the graphic design stuff, you're going to want to know the sizes. You're going to want to know. You can write these down while I say them if you want. You're going to want to know that 1080 by 1080 square is what you use for Instagram, and 1054 by 512 is what you want for Twitter, and 1200 by 628 is what you want for Facebook, or 1080 by 1080. And for Pinterest, you need 735 by 1035, I think it is. I use those numbers all the time, so I've memorized them. But if you don't want to memorize those numbers or go searching on Google and find last year's numbers that don't work, this download is for you. This download is a printable book that you can stick on your bulletin board or keep in your design file, and it's going to tell you exactly what size you need for a post that's going on each of those networks. And it's also going to tell you the size that you need to design for your cover photos. It's all up to date as of January. As far as I know, not much has changed since January, but I will update it. And if you sign up to get this book through the freebie link today, I will also send all the people who get the freebie through that link the updated book when it's available, when things change and I get it updated. So you will always have the most up-to-date image sizes that you need. Okay, so that's it. To get the freebie today, you're going to go to twirp.ca/sizes. So twirp.ca/sizes. Yes, I'm Canadian, and yes, I said zed. twirp.ca/sizes, and I hope you'll join me again next week, where I will be talking about how I take one piece of this unique content and turn it into about 50 different pieces. There's a process for recycling the content that you spend so much time creating, and I want to help you get more out of that marketing. It's going to help you get more out of your graphic design that you're paying for, and it's going to help you get more out of the efforts that you're putting into building your blogs and videos and graphics and all of that stuff. Recycle it, and I'm going to share with you how easy it is to go through that recycling process. All right, so that's all I've got for you today. Come back next week and let's make your work go even further and make it even easier. If you enjoyed this, please give it a share to your friends so that they can come in and learn about all these great tools as well. And I will see you next week. Thanks for joining me.